Hey.
Hi guys, we are live. It's Rita
And Henry.
with DisNerd's Live, and thanks for joining us.
All right, now I gotta go do a little bit of work real quick.
You gotta do some work.
You make me work every now and then.
Well, let me do our intro first.
Go right ahead.
All right, cool. We are now unmuted. Thank you to those who are watching already. Please go ahead and make sure that you say hi to us as you come on. Hello, hello. And make sure that you share out because tonight's topic is going to be so much fun. We're bringing on a special guest and we'll get to that in just a minute. But we're going to be talking about dads and what they have to share about going to Disney World.
That's right.
I think I really like my dads that I have here on the show. I really like the premise and kind of what their thoughts are on Disney and where they're coming from with some of their
I'm
thoughts.
just glad we found a dad to go on the show with you.
With me?
Well,
With you.
I
have a dad on the show with me every week.
Who?
You.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. But before we get started, I just want to shout out some news out there that you need to know about. Those of you who travel to Walt Disney World, there's been some big changes as concerning smoking areas and strollers. So please make sure...
And ice.
And I'm still... I've kind of Googled that and sort of wondered what the whole ice thing was about. But anyway, if anybody has any insight, let me know.
You can't have... Obviously, you can't bring ice in anymore. You were able to bring it in coolers before.
Yeah, I just don't know why.
Why you can't?
Yeah, but let's not... Yeah.
Oh, I figured someone threw it on the ground sometime because they were done with their ice and someone fell.
Yeah, maybe.
I think it's literally that simple.
But anyway, so strollers are a big deal when it comes to Disney. So they have some very specific dimensions. And it looks like I am frozen. I hope that that's not the case.
Well, I'll
everywhere
keep watching
else.
over here.
Okay.
See if we got a pause. It paused all right for a second. We did pause for a half second.
All right, cool. But anyway, so they have some very specific dimensions, and they are getting rid of the wagon strollers. So you definitely want to talk to your travel agent at Middle of the Magic Travel to get kind of those details. Yes, there's our little logo. Right. Any other news you want to share out?
You know what? Lightning McQueen has landed in Hollywood Studios.
Yes.
As of yesterday, actually.
Yes.
Today, 31st. Today, actually. First showing was today.
Oh, okay.
It's very much a filler show.
Yes.
It's a crowd. It's about a 10-minute show. It is indoors. So in the middle of the day, you're over in Hollywood Studios, you want to get out of the heat. Great place to go and sit down for 10 to 15 minutes. The show's 10 minutes long.
Great animatronic, by the way.
Oh, the animatronics.
We've watched the video.
Yes.
Excellent animatronic.
The Lightning McQueen animatronics is amazing. A cute little story with it. It definitely feels like the pre-show to a bigger show, but it does exactly what it should do, which is whenever you have those long lines, it gives people a place to go sit down. Great for the kids. That kind of deal.
We love having some Pixar in the parks anyway.
Yes.
And
exactly.
why not have cars?
Yeah.
So I love cars. I think the families will enjoy it, and it will be nice to sit down and enjoy a good quality show with a great animatronic to get out of the heat.
That's
Let's
right.
face it. It's at the end of Sunset Boulevard, in between Rock and Roller Coaster and Tower of Terror. If you want to take a look at a video of it, you can head to Middle of the Magic Travel. I believe they have posted the live video. I could be wrong, but Middle of the Magic Travel's Facebook page.
It's being worked on if it's not already.
Okay, yeah.
So, and then Mickey's PhilharMagic.
Yes, it's headed out to Disneyland.
It's staying in Disney World also.
Oh, yes. I'm sorry.
Yes. It's not leaving.
No panic.
It's just doubling up. PhilharMagic's going to do a double duty now.
Oh, that leads to my fun news.
Okay, what's your fun news?
I'm going to Disneyland.
What? Wait, what?
I am. Sorry, honey.
Oh.
I'm going to Disneyland.
You're going to make me go
I'm
to
so excited.
You're going to send me a comic convention and you're going to go to Disneyland?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, while Henry goes off to...
I'm going to go hang out with our guest that weekend instead.
Yes, Henry heads out to Heroes Club.
I'll be in Heroes in Charlotte, North Carolina.
I'm going to be at Disneyland.
Yes.
And guess what will be open when I go to Disneyland?
Disneyland.
Of course.
Galaxy's Edge. Yes.
I'm so excited. Anyway, so more to come about that. But Middle of the Magic Travel is also having a promotion starting tomorrow, and we will post that into the Facebook page, and I'll also be putting a blog post up about it. So please pay attention to that. And before we spend any more time talking about other things, let's go ahead and bring on our guest. So I've got to click a couple of buttons here, and Scott.
Yay! Scott, you're on TV now.
Oh, good.
Yes. Hello, this is Scott. Everybody who is watching, Scott Fogg is a friend of ours and also a client of ours. But friend first, and definitely a friend of Henry. Henry has known Scott for a while. But
a couple years now, eh?
Yeah. 5 or 6 years. It's gone.
Yeah. So, Scott, Scott, go ahead and plug some of your projects. Scott's a creative, like many people that we know out there in the world, but he's got some really cool projects going on.
Yeah. As she said, my name is Scott Fogg, and I am a writer, which currently is not paying the bills. It's not my full-time job. But when I get a chance to, I self-published a graphic novel called Phileas Reed Knows We're Not Alone, which you can now find at your finest Epicos comic book stores in the Chattanooga area, as well as online. I have an Etsy store. If you search for me, Scott Fogg, that's Fogg with 2 G's. I'm currently working on, and today actually was the last day for auditions. My friend and I, we go way back. We're writing partners. We have created or are creating a Beauty and the Beast podcast, which will be a lot of fun. It'll be 8 chapters. It's not the Disney version. It's kind of our take on the story, but it was definitely inspired by the project was inspired by Beauty and the Beast. We love the movie, but there's always this part of it that always kind of bothered us just a little bit. And so we started playing around with it and realized we had a lot of story there that we would like to tell. So hopefully that'll be available in the next couple of months, I would say. We just finished auditions or receiving auditions. But if you follow me, I'm at Scottish Fogg with 2 G's on Twitter, and you'll be able to find all the updates and whatnot as we go along.
Cool. Awesome. Well, we'll make sure that we put your information up onto the website and, of course, on the Facebook page. So thank you for joining us.
Absolutely.
Scott is a dad of a lovely, beautiful Amelia, much like ours. We also have an Amelia.
So funny story. Whenever Scott came to the store and told me that he had a young daughter on the way and could be named Amelia, and I knew that we were thinking about naming our child Amelia also, I was like, so what's your daughter's middle name? Because I wanted to make sure we didn't double all of it up.
Right. Ours is Amelia Grace.
He has a Grace, we have a Rose.
Yes. 2 wonderful Amelias, for sure.
Yes.
So we asked Scott to come on tonight. Hey, Bridget! We asked Scott to come on tonight because we know Scott's heart and his enthusiasm for Disney and sharing it with his daughter. And so we thought this would be a great show. Top 5 things dads, in Disney, basically, to look forward to
That's right.
enjoy at Disney. And why don't you, Henry, go ahead and tell kind of where this topic came from.
So the topic, and I've shared many of times before, where I would run into people before we ever became planners and before we started the Facebook Live group. I don't know if we're not really podcasters yet, but we're we started this DisNerd's life. I would run into people that say, "Oh, I'm never going back to Disney. It was a horrible experience," or "Oh my goodness, how much money did I have to spend to go down to Disney?" Scott and I were talking about before we came live here of there's a trend right now of the ladies are wearing a shirt that says "Best Day Ever," and the guys are wearing a shirt that says "Most Expensive Day Ever." And I'm going to disagree because if they did their wedding right, Disney is not the most expensive day ever. And if they have a daughter, one day it will not be the most expensive day ever. I am sure of it. When they get the bill for college.
That's true. That's true.
Sons too, for that matter. So I got to think about it. I was like, man, I know that myself, and I know Scott really loves it. There's several other guys that I know that come around the store that we chat. And we talk about how much we really enjoy going down to Disney. And I thought, man, there's just a lot of guys out there that need to know why Disney can be fun. It's not just for princesses. It's for everyone now.
Yes, and it's great for dads, too. I was just looking at the demographics of our Facebook page earlier today, and I noticed that there are like 70% of the people who follow us are female, and only about 30% are male.
Interesting.
Yeah. And so
I'll work on that.
Yeah, and so I thought that was just kind of an interesting observation as we come into this. So here's what's going to happen. These guys have their top 5 things that dads have to look forward to Disney, and they're going to go back and forth and share. I really don't get to go. I really don't get to have any say in any of this.
Old school, new school.
Oh, you see, have it on.
He pulled his phone up. He's got it on the phone. I've got it on paper.
Yes. But as you're watching, I would love for you to comment what are top 5, the top things that dads, and listen, you don't necessarily have to be a dad, but top 5 things that you can look forward to when it comes to Disney, and particularly sharing it with your children. So, let's see, who goes first?
Doesn't matter. Guests first.
That's right.
Okay. So my 5, we'll just go like back and forth.
Let's go back and forth. Yeah.
I was just going to say that there is definitely some kind of bleed over. Like they're kind of. You'll see.
Yes, there will be.
Number 1 to me, the thing that I love, that I look forward to, because I went to Disney as a kid. I think the first time I went, I was probably less than 10. I was probably 9 or 10 years old. From there up till now, and being able to now experience it with my daughter is honestly the magic of Disney. It's a magical place. Like if you just kind of commit to it, you walk in and you enter the gates to the Magic Kingdom. It's magical. And if you don't believe it, just look at your child's face. Like for Amelia, it was real. Like she did not understand the things she was seeing, and it's like the best thing in the world. When we get there, like her favorite, like there's several favorite, like kind of almost stops along the way that she loves. And that first one, going around town square, and that reveal of seeing the castle, she squeals every time, the castle! And then she, like, runs, like, makes a beeline to the castle, because she's like, I'm going to kiss it. Okay, I'm like, there's a gate. Okay, but hurry.
So, note for you is don't come during the 3 o'clock parade then.
Sure.
Well, you said something though in there that I think is really important, and I think this is important for dads, moms, anybody who comes. Is that you commit to it, because you have to know when you're walking in as a parent, and particularly as a dad, that you have to commit to the fact that this is a magical place, and you got to let. And I've said this, and please forgive me for using maybe a religious phrase, but you have to let go and let Disney.
Right.
Anyway.
And Disney makes it really easy to do. If you just kind of take some of those, maybe I don't know what people's hangups could potentially be, if they're weirded out by people in costume, or if the whole thing is an amusement park versus an experience. If you go and just like watch your child experience it, like there's nothing better. It's like it's the best, and it's just, I sum it up as just the magic of Disney.
It very much is, and it's similar to one of the ones that I had written down on mine. Mine says, "I forget the world."
Yeah,
you get there, you buy into the fact that I'm in a totally different place, and I'm just relaxing. I'm enjoying what's going on. A lot of y'all know that I'm a small business owner. I get phone calls pretty consistently, and whenever I'm there, I kind of forget what all is going on. I trust my staff to do what they're going to do, and I can be in the middle of an Adventureland, or I can be out on a safari, or here, dadgum soon, I'm going to be out in space flying the Millennium Falcon. That's what you just get to do with it. Mm-hmm. So, that's just the thing of, one of our watchers just said, yes, the Disney bubble. They're very much in a bubble of their own world, and I absolutely love it.
Well, and I'm going to make an assumption here, and you guys can comment on this, but, there's a lot of weight. And I'm not saying that there's not a weight that moms carry and parents carry all kinds of weight on their shoulders. But I know that there is a lot of weight that dads carry on their shoulders for being providers of their family. And what a wonderful place to just sort of let all that go.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm someone who loves taking pictures and video, and it's a great way to just run the battery down on your phone, since I'm not carrying a camera anymore. And so it's another great thing to do, is just be like, I'm not answering my phone. You put it on airplane mode, and you can just, save the battery, but also means the world can't touch me right now. They can't reach me. The stresses of work and the other 3 projects I'm working on, they get to wait until tonight or Thursday, whenever I get around to it.
Whenever I get around to it, exactly. So
yeah,
very much.
And honestly, what you just said, it segues into my next one, which is I call the immersion. For that brief moment, whether it's walking into the park or it's stepping into the line at Star Tours or it's waiting in the court to meet Merida, for a moment there, you exist in a completely different world. And that is something that I think Disney has. Are we allowed to mention the other park?
Oh,
Sure.
yeah.
Okay. It's something like Universal has Harry Potter World, and it's amazing. But what they have in Harry Potter World, Disney has at every corner of especially specifically the Magic Kingdom. Mm-hmm. It's just like you're just walking from one storybook into another, stepping through a portal into another world, going into it's like when you're there, and it's just like you get to, for a moment, if you just kind of relax and look above the people, you are in your favorite movie, you're in your favorite story, so and it's really easy just to go, oh yeah, where's Rapunzel? Like there's her tower. She's somewhere. It's just super easy just to like immerse yourself and just kind of lose yourself in these little magical little sections of the park.
Very true. And that, so we're just going to segue from your point to my point, back to your point about
That's
mine,
fine.
obviously. Because that was one of the things, the next thing on mine, and not necessarily in order. I don't have mine in order. I just have 5 things, right?
Yeah, me too.
So, but on there was, Star Wars and Marvel especially now, because that's, honestly, if Disney buys Hasbro, they have my whole childhood, and I won't ever go anywhere else again. Because Harry Potter, as cool as Harry Potter is, that's not my childhood. That's my college adult years. So
that's true. I never really thought about that.
That's that next generation's childhood. This one is, for me, I mean, if I can see, I don't know, if they had a G.I. Joe land all of a sudden, which I don't think Disney ever would, but it'd score for me, Transformers come over, let's go pick up Hasbro, all right, and we're done. But they make it so immersive. So, like, obviously, we see it over with Star Tours, and we're going to see it with Galaxy's Edge. But Pandora especially. But I was going to say, over at Disneyland, the Marvel Training Academy area was so cool.
Oh, but Cars Land in Disneyland, I'm telling you, I've never in my life been anywhere else that is so immersive.
Yeah.
I mean, anyway, yeah.
Is it anything? I haven't been to the Cars one in Disneyland. Is it anything like the Speedway that used to be at Hollywood Studios? You know what I'm talking about? Like there used to be like a Cars area.
No, bigger. Think. All right, so imagine in Disneyland, you actually get to walk into Radiator Springs.
Oh, okay.
So like I'm not a huge Cars fanatic to know all the names, but Flo's Diner is an actual diner there.
Cool. Okay.
You can go get quick food over at
the Cozy Cone.
Cozy Cone Cafes, which is the hotel they had.
Cool.
Fillmore has a shop there that's all souvenirs. So you literally walk into Radiator Springs, and then the attraction they have back there is him actually doing the race on the dirt track.
Neat. Okay.
So, and you actually get to ride in that one. So it's pretty awesome.
Yes. So I didn't mean to take us off.
No, perfectly fine. It is very immersive. And I just love the fact that everything is a lot of my childhood. It's a lot of Dad's childhoods that are out there. That you get to go, hey, I grew up watching Star Wars. I grew up reading comic books. I grew up playing with, XYZ, and that's what Disney has, and they're doing a great job of letting us being immersed into it. So, and hence that seems to be the theme of so far our conversation is we get to be immersed in things. So.
Yeah.
And again, I'll go back. You have to commit to it. I'm sure that there are a lot of people out there who, for whatever reason, I'm going to make an assumption because I really don't understand this. That it's not adult to be immersed in that.
Maybe, yeah. That makes. I can see that. It's one of those things. I always felt I'll admit to always feeling a little bit unique growing up because I love Disney movies. And my friends were like, you're going to go see Beauty and the Beast? I'm like, yeah, a second time. It's great. It's like,
Yeah.
I love the Disney princesses. Like, as a child growing up, we went and saw Little Mermaid. We went and saw Beauty and the Beast. I loved them all. I loved Aladdin. I loved, A Lion King. You go through all of them, and it's like, for me, it wasn't weird to root for Belle or I connected with Belle and I hated Gaston. As I got older, Gaston became one of my favorite characters because he's so ridiculous and over the top. But it's like,
Yes.
so but going through, like, I remember being blown away by the magic of, I forget what it's called, but you go into Beast's castle to eat.
Oh, yeah.
And, like, you're in the line, and, like, the armor is talking, and, like, the helmets will move a little bit.
Yes.
And like, one of the first times we went, it was, like, they gave us the little rose, and they're like, just go sit down somewhere. And you're in this huge room, and they somehow knew exactly where we're sitting. And I always remember just being blown away, like, this place is actually magical.
Yep.
Like, there's no way. How did they,
Yeah.
like, what is this? Like, it's amazing, but it's that. Like, to me, that's even part of the immersion. As an adult, you make me forget. There's these little moments in time where I forget I'm an adult interacting with animatronics or I'm interacting with actors. It's just like, for a moment, I'm here. Like, this is it. Like, it's very, very cool. And that's just me as an adult. But then everything I talk about is compounded by watching my daughter as well as a dad also experiencing it. And there's certain movies she hasn't seen yet, and there's certain characters she may not know, but I get to share that with her, which actually is the next thing on my list, is the being able to share these things, because we like a lot of the same movies. We'll rewatch the Disney movies over and over again, but then there's other ones that she's less familiar with that I get to go, look at that, that's, so-and-so, or that's this thing. And she's like, I don't know what that is. I'm like, oh, and then I sing the song. I'm pulling up the music on my phone. I'm like, this is the best. We're listening to this all the way home. And she does, and she does the same thing. She goes, oh, it's Merida. And she's like pulling me across the park to go, see her favorite thing.
Yep.
And she's sharing that with me. I love it.
We realized today that Amelia has not seen Aladdin yet. So we started watching Aladdin today. And she was like, oh, is that Aladdin? And I'm like, no, that's not Aladdin. Well, who's Aladdin? Wait, you'll look. Wait, I loved Aladdin. Aladdin was amazing to me. But again, that's kind of my childhood years of it, and so I think as dads, we want to share our childhood with our kids. And I see it not only at Disney. I mean, I see it at the store. I see dads coming in showing their kids how to play Pokemon. I see dads coming in picking up a comic book and going, "Hey, son, daughter, this is Batman. Let me show you something that I loved." So I think as dads, we ultimately want to do that because, like Rita said, we do have a weight on our shoulders as dads to provide, and part of that providing is to help grow our children into the next generation, and we just want them to follow somewhat in our footsteps, not all the way, but somewhat.
And like Disney makes it so easy. Like, it's a common language. You know what I mean? Where, like, I also think to compound this, I have a daughter, and I know you have a daughter, and so sometimes that sharing between fathers and daughters is not always something society helps us with a whole lot.
Sure.
They're kind of like, oh, it's a mom-daughter date. Oh, go get your hair done, go get a manicure. But it's like, well, what does a father do? We kind of hang out.
Once a year we get a dance.
Right. We get a dance, and we get to pay for stuff. That's what, society kind of tells us, right? But, like, you go to Disney, and it's like, no. I love Rapunzel. We can share this. Like, this music is amazing. Flynn Rider is one of the best characters ever. Rapunzel's awesome. And, the frog. I know it's not a frog.
Naveen. Wait.
No, from Rapunzel. The
chameleon.
The chameleon.
Yeah.
Nuance. Yeah.
Does it have a name? I should know.
It does.
Everything has a name.
It has a name. Oh, I feel awful. Anyway, but I have that, and it's a common language we can speak, and it's something that when you go to Disney, then it also becomes really, really easy to connect and bond. Because, I would love to share my comic books with her, but she's not super interested. She's got a couple characters that she's latched onto, but, generally speaking, it's not her thing, and that's fine. I don't want to push that. but Disney allows me to. There's a thing that we both love that we can go and we go to Magic Kingdom, we go to Hollywood Studios, we can come together and like, if you just commit to it, have a blast.
Yep. Scott, did you guys take a picture with the lantern in Rapunzel, in the Rapunzel area in the evening time?
No, the person I was with thought that was kind of lame, and so that did not happen. I wanted to, but no, it did not happen.
Henry talked me into it. I'm not gonna lie to you.
I did. She's like, "There's a line."
Thank you, Henry.
We're gonna do it.
I was like, "There's a lantern. We should totally do that." And Kelly's like, "That picture's not going to turn out." I'm like, "We should do it." And she's like, Psh. We get back and we see all of our friends holding the lantern. I'm like, "That could have been on our anniversary pictures. That could have been everything."
Oh.
I'll have to.
Next time it's happening.
Bridget, who's watching, by the way, the name of the chameleon is Pascal.
Pascal. Yep.
All right, so I'm going to divert off of the family topic that we've been on almost all of it.
Yeah.
So my next thing, that a reason for me as a dad to go to Disney, eating food.
I knew this was going.
Oh my goodness, the food is awesome. So, and you don't have to be a dad to enjoy it. Us guys, we love to eat. So just go down there. Listen, if you want the full menu of it all, go down in October. Go during Food and Wine Festival. There's 30 plus booths that's going to feed you all kinds of amazing food. And the cool thing with it is, because I like to try new things, a lot of times you get, those especially during Food and Wine Festival, you get a little small entrees, but it's like a little sampler. So I get to move from country to country doing little samples going, that was good. That was good.
We did that.
I'll never try that again. So,
what a mistake. No, we were literally talking about that when we were down there, because we were telling somebody, oh, we go down there and we love the food. And they're like, it's just like hamburgers and hot dogs. I'm like,
no.
if you think that, you are doing Disney wrong, because like Disney has legit good food. You can, what is that 1950s cafe in Hollywood
50s
Studios?
Prime Time.
It's like, it's as good as my mom's home cooking. Like, it really, really is. Like, you go to these different little restaurants and you can get not only different flavors, it's not necessarily the fast food version of that. It's not like, oh, there's Mexican, which is basically Taco Bell, but you go to these little restaurants and it's like, this is an actual Indian restaurant and you can get really good food here.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
And if you are one of those that just needs like just the basic hot dogs and all that,
oh yeah, they
it's
exist.
there. I mean, heck, Casey's.
It's actually kind of hard to find sometimes.
I was going to say, Casey's Corner over there on Main Street in Magic Kingdom, some of the best hot dogs around. You know, so because you can get the dogs done all sorts of different ways.
Yes,
absolutely. We like. And there was the place that had like we had this really amazing. It's over there by, I think it's by Liberty Square. We got a waffle with a chicken in the middle.
Sleepy Hollow.
Yeah. Oh, it was the best sandwich ever. It was 2 pieces of a waffle with chicken, and it had slaw in it, and it was spicy and it was sweet. Love that, but we really do like finding those little restaurants to sit down in, because we take those opportunities to get out of the sun, sit down, drink something cold, get some food, and like you eat once in the park and you're probably set for the rest of the day, not counting Dole Whips and pretzels.
So Bridget, who's watching, showed me a picture last time of her Mickey pretzel, and if you take the Mickey pretzel and you turn it upside down, it's a carriage.
Yep, it looks like Cinderella's carriage.
I had no idea.
I didn't either. Me and Scott talked about that.
I call myself a Disney expert, and I had no idea.
How much do you think that's on purpose, or do you think that was really just like, oh, you guys, look what we did?
It's just always hard to tell.
It's hard to tell.
It's hard to tell, and it's really hard to tell with Disney, because everything is so well thought out. Like I wouldn't put it past them at all.
Yeah.
You know, if I look at it sideways, it might be Darth Vader. I don't know, but it may be.
I just hope that the pretzels that we get over in Galaxy's Edge will look like Darth Vader and then like Luke Skywalker or something. I don't know.
Different colored salt, so it looks like different lightsaber colors. Okay, so moving.
Next.
I called this one The Care, and this one's very important to me. I kind of describe it as the cast seems to be empowered to make your day more magical. So our daughter has a few small special needs. she's pretty normal 99% of the way. You might not even notice, but she has ADHD, and she also has some sensory processing issues, which makes standing in lines really difficult because she doesn't want to sit still. She doesn't want to just stand there. And if something's too loud ever, it can kind of shut her down a little bit. Disney, as a park, has this amazing disability pass that we take full advantage of, and it has made going there with her so much easier, which we absolutely love. And I don't know if other parks do it. Six Flags might do it. Universal might do it. I don't know. We haven't had that experience yet. We haven't gone there for the next reason I'll list. But not only does that exist, but like every single cast member, and I guess everybody knows when we say cast member, we mean staff.
Yes.
Not just costume people. All of the cast members were so proactive in trying to make our day the best day possible. From little examples of we would go somewhere and we had lost our map, and we're looking for a place to buy a battery charger, and the person we talked to did not know, but they didn't want to tell us that. But they also didn't misdirect us. They were like, I don't know. He would know. Go around the corner. There'll be a guy there with balloons, or whatever. There was from that to we rode Space Mountain and Amelia jumped off. That was so great. Let's go again. And the cast member went, follow the green line. And we went, what? She said, follow the green line. And there on the wall, there's this painted green line, and we followed it, and it took us right back into, we didn't even have to wait in line. They just wrapped around, and we were back at the beginning of the roller coaster again. And we're like, what just happened? And that happened over and over again in small and in big ways and that just, it made me feel so good as a dad to see these people know kids and being able to help the kids out. And then even talking about the actual, when she met Merida and when she met Tinkerbell and all these different people that mean something to her, they got down on one knee to talk to her. They went to her. So many times as a dad, you take your daughter out into public or you go places and people don't know how to respond to her because she's a little weird. She might twitch a funny way or respond a different way, or maybe doesn't talk to people when they talk to her. That was never an issue at Disney. Merida was just I don't know if it's the same Merida from last year, but we were last year we were here, you taught her how to dance. She wants to show you, how much she has learned in the last year. And she started dancing, and Merida just jumped right into it and just knew what was going on. And whatever training, whatever is going on behind the scenes to make that happen, I love, because there's so many times I will spend money or devote a day to something hoping it's going to be good for her, and it's not. And it's not because of her necessarily, but it's because the interaction she has with the world isn't always the best. And so that care that we receive the entire time from the hotel to the park and everything in between is this is why Disney's the best. It just is. Well,
and Disney really, I think, prides themselves on that in a very humble way because they're not broadcasting it.
Yeah.
And you're exactly right. I mean, there is no better place to take your child, no matter what, because they're going to have a wonderful time. Even just little things with my oldest daughter, Minnie, and I have not done this with Amelia, but we've been doing Disney for a long time. And when she was a little girl, Tinkerbell visited her every night. And so we went and visited Tinkerbell as often as possible. And all I had to do was say, hey, Tink, thanks so much for those gifts you've been dropping off. And I mean, bam, like that.
Yeah.
She was there.
Yeah.
And
I love it. Yeah.
Whatever they're doing to make sure that the magic lives for kids, no matter what they're like, is amazing. And truly, as a parent, has me hooked.
Sure.
100%.
Right.
I mean, there's a reason that from the corporate side of it, Disney offers several business. This is how you do customer service. This is leadership. How you take care of people. They do a lot of that, and I know that there are people out there that will see this video at some point and go, "Well, let me tell you about this one bad experience that I had." Yes,
I'm sure it exists.
It exists.
I've even had them.
But the percentage is so much lower of bad experiences that you'll ever have at Disney in comparison to going to any other a park.
Well, they also fix their bad experiences.
They
Right.
do, and it's just been built into their culture, and that is an awesome part of it. You know, so I wish all corporate cultures were like that. But if all of them were like that, then Disney wouldn't stand out. So
that's true. There is one place that I know of that I can speak to that is similar, and I can't. It's Dollywood.
I've never been to Dollywood.
Well, it's okay, Scott. I didn't go for the first. My third time was last year. So,
Okay. We keep talking about it. We just haven't gone yet.
I think that here's, and not to sidetrack, but Dollywood's not my favorite place because it splits up the family. Like you really have to like big roller coasters.
Gotcha.
To do everything together at Dollywood. So there's sort of this split that occurs. It's like, well, you take the little kids over here and the teenagers over here, and but it's still clean and the customer service is amazing.
Yeah.
And so it's a cool place to visit. So if you are looking for a little, I mean, it's not Disney, but it's close. It's close.
Yeah. Cool. That's good to hear.
Disney Junior.
Yes, it's Disney Junior. They have,
Not the Disney show.
and something that Dollywood has that Disney does not have is Dollywood has sensory rooms.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Anyway, all right. So, sorry, that's a hijack for a minute.
That's all right.
I think you're up one.
So the next one on for mine is has nothing to do with our family as much, but it just speaks to how I am. I know a lot of guys are. Is I'm a big collector. I love to collect things. Pin trading feels so wrong as a collector some days that I love it. Because so you gather up little cheap pins, and I can go trade pins with a cast member anytime, and they just go, sure. If someone had put a $100 pin on their lanyard, and I walk up and go, I've got this 5-cent pin, I'd like to trade with you, and the cast members go, okay. But it's cool from the aspect that I can go, you know what, right now I'm trying to find any Stitch pins, or the Marvel pins when I see those, or I worked on a set for Rita last 2 years ago for all the Epcot pins.
Right.
There's another wave out. I have not finished it.
Epcot Center pins.
I'm so sorry.
I had to correct him.
Epcot Center pins. So, for all those old dead rods she likes.
Well, you're speaking at it from a collector's point of view. But at the same time, if you think back, in Amelia, we haven't pin traded with Amelia much.
She done a little
Just
bit.
a little bit. But when Minnie was younger, before she decided she liked the Shadowlands better, that was something that we did together as a family. And so I think that's a good avenue for when we talk about, dads being able to commit or to buy in or to, just really learn how to immerse themselves into the Disney culture there. I think pin trading is a great way to do that with your child.
Totally agree with you on that. Because and it's not only just pin trading. If you're one of those that love the press pennies,
oh yeah,
you can go gather press pennies through there. There's so many little neat things that you can go collect. And I know, I collect baseball cards when I was a kid. I collect comic books as I was a kid. Whenever I became into college and stuff, I got into playing collectible card games. Everything was a different version of collecting that I could do. So it's definitely it's one of those ways. And I guess the way Rita said it was the best way for me is that it gives me an avenue to be able to share my experiences with my children and them potentially buy into it as much as I do.
Well, it's a little bit more. I don't want to say it's masculine. It's just more masculine than necessarily for those who might struggle with that. The whole princess thing. Then let's go get all the autographs of the princesses. It's like, hey, let's go pin trade.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, and I feel like Disney is broad enough, and between all the different stores and different little stops that are along the way, whatever you like, you're probably going to be able to find. Unless it's Robin Hood, then forget it. Why do they why is there no Robin Hood? That's the thing I always look for, and they're like, no, we don't know who that is. I'm like, it's your best movie. They're like, we've never heard of it.
Well, that's because Robin Hood fell, there at that point where after Disney had passed away, and it's in that weird mix of movies of the Black Cauldron and the Sword
the Black
and
Cauldron's
Stone,
in there,
and the Jungle Book. Actually, is all sort of right there in that mess, and they just don't get enough recognition.
It's so I have a friend. Like every time we go, we look for whatever Robin Hood stuff we can find, and we're lucky to find one thing.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I understand it's that weird little time in animation history for Disney, but it's like, you guys, this is, I don't know. I feel like there's money on the table. But that aside, I feel like whatever it is you're interested in, I love art, and I've been able to find, whether it's a print or it's an actual sketch or something, I've been able to find something there. I always kind of go with a little bit of a budget, going, I'm going to find something, and I always do. And sometimes it's different, sometimes it's not that, sometimes it's a set of socks, sometimes it's whatever. Yeah. So if you're a collector, I think you're going to find something that's up your alley.
It's a strange word you said there. Budget. I don't understand.
Just a little bit. It's one of those things, you mentioned the most expensive shirt day ever. And I hate that shirt, because when my wife and I, we are very like-minded. When we go on a vacation, we'll have planned it. We'll have put money aside for it for that week or that weekend. And then we go, and we don't really talk about it, because we know we know food's going to be a little bit more expensive. We know this is going to be this is going to be that. But there's no reason to continue to bring it up, because I feel like that's just a great way for it to be just a downer. Oh, look, we spent, this much money. That being said, for the most part, I feel like whatever you're looking for, you can find it within your budget, food-wise. But even
and even stuff-wise.
Yeah, that's what stuff and souvenir-wise. It's like, so before we leave, I'll kind of go, okay, I have this much money. And I'll just kind of lot that out in my head, going, ooh, I get to buy a Lego set, and I get to buy this shirt and these socks, and now I am good to go. Ooh, and that pin, and that's
yeah.
I don't want to dwell on it. I don't want to make it a thing, because I just feel like that's a good way to ruin a fun day.
Yeah.
But still be responsible.
Awesome. So, do you have any more on your list? I haven't been keeping up.
I have one last one.
I have one last one. Go ahead.
Which it's something we've been circling around this entire time. And it's funny that you brought up Dollywood and how it separates the family. What I love about Disney is that it's fun for the entire family. Amelia's now just tall enough that we could do any ride that we wanted to. We saw some of those families where they would get the kid and they're like, stand up straighter, But
you mean the kid that's in snow boots in June?
Right. They're walking up on stilts. They're like, no, I'm really this tall. But it doesn't separate the family. There isn't a kids section and then an adult section, which is honestly why we haven't gone to Universal Studios, because she could probably only ride 2 or 3 of the rides. Yep. While we're going, well, you wait here, we're going to go ride the Hulk. You wait here, we're going to go ride, Transformers or whatever. We get to do the whole park together, and nobody is waiting for anybody else. Except the only one that she couldn't ride was the Rock and Roller Coaster over at Hollywood Studios.
Rock and Roller Coaster, and there's another 48-inch one also. Flights of Passage is 48 inches also, I think.
Okay. We didn't. That wasn't on our list of things.
Yeah, that's over in Animal Kingdom.
Okay, that's why.
I think that one's 48. So I think that's the only 2 Amelia has left that she cannot ride. There's several she has not ridden yet.
Yeah.
But she's able to ride all but those 2, I think.
But yeah, you're able to go through the whole park together and experience all of it together, and I don't know, everything. I feel like if you could, going back to the very first thing, if you commit to it, you can have fun anywhere. Amelia's favorite rides were Splash Mountain and
that's ours too.
Yeah, Splash Mountain,
Space
Mountain.
Yes.
Yeah, Splash Mountain. She loves Splash Mountain, Space Mountain, and for some reason she demands It's a Small World every time. I'm like, it's a 20-minute ride with a 3-minute song. Why are we on this ride?
So
it is 20 minutes.
Our Amelia's, if you ask her what her favorite rides are, her answer is Splash Mountain, Prince Charming's Carousel, and Splash Mountain.
We didn't get to go on timing and line-wise, we didn't get to do the carousel. And I'm like, we live in Chattanooga. We've got one of the greatest carousels in Village Park.
We do.
We're okay. We don't have to ride this one, but she was a little disappointed we didn't get to, so maybe next time.
My word. When we were there last time, the line, they had someone with a stick saying this is the end of the line, holding it out.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I've never seen that line before.
So that's what happened this time when we were there. We're just like, does something happen in the carousel? Like, you came to Disney to stand in an hour-and-a-half line for, okay, you guys do you. We're going to go do Pirates of the Caribbean. Y'all have fun.
Cool. Now, did you say you had one last one?
I do have, and it's been kind of the topic of all of it. But what I love the most about going to Disney as a dad, and strictly speaking as a dad, is seeing the smiles on my kid's face.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter when or what, whether it's meeting one of the princesses or Mickey Mouse or whoever. I'll always remember the time that we went and saw Elsa and Anna. And this was back whenever she was probably 2.
Yeah.
So when people turn around and ask me, in fact, I had one of my friends, Justin Shepard, sent me a message. He goes, "Would you recommend taking a 2-year-old to Disney?"
Yes.
And I went,
When they're free.
Yep. Well, that's a good answer too. I didn't even think about that part of it. But we saw Anna and Elsa, and at the end it was like, it's nap time. I mean, back when you're 2 years old, you go back for naps. When you're in your 40s, you go back for naps also if they'll let you. But we went back and we'd driven the van over, and Rita and everyone else was staying. They were still to go do some stuff. I was thinking just a minute back. I got her in a car seat, and Frozen is what had been playing on the DVD player whenever we had got there. Didn't think a thing about it, and she sat down, and her eyes just got wide, and she's like, "I saw them," and she realized at that moment that she had seen a movie star in life, you know, and that just meant so much. Like she just like was excited. Of course, we didn't have a nap then at that point. So
No, that's exactly it. That's the nail on the head. It's as much as I grew up watching these and enjoyed it, it's like I look down at her and she's just like exploding with excitement. You know, or the same could be said. Like I am the type of person who I do not really like 3D movies. They just do not do it for me. Realized this was her first experience with 3D was at Disney this year because she was like leaning over the people in front of her trying to grab the things that were like flying at her. And I was like, 3D is the best thing ever invented, you guys. I don't know. Just watching her like just go like, oh, it's coming at me. It's right there. Why can't I grab that thing? I'm like,
oh, that's awesome.
She did it both at Philharmonic and at the Muppets. It blew her mind.
That's my favorite, the Muppets.
The Muppets is fun. I enjoy Philharmonic, but I enjoy it because it has really good music and I can sit down.
Yes.
Did you guys watch the Muppet, the Little Muppet Show in Liberty Square?
History.
Not this time, but we did last time.
Yeah, okay, that's right.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I love the Muppets.
I know. I do too. I wish my family did. More. The kids.
Oh, yeah. I was going to say, why are you saying now?
It's just over there.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway. Well, awesome. Well, thank you, Scott, so much for coming on. I really appreciate it. It was a good show. We've had lots of viewers, so that's really cool.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
We do appreciate it. And again, we will put Scott's information out there so you guys can see what his upcoming projects are. And I guess really that's about it. Make sure that you head over to middleofthemagictravel.com to check out that page. There are many travel agents who work there, including ourselves. We always kind of put that out there. But if we're not your personality type, then there's definitely going to be somebody there that is. So we appreciate you guys watching, and we will be back, right? Next Sunday?
Yes.
You'll
I'm
be
not.
here in
I'm
town?
not out of town until the end of April.
Awesome. We will be back next Sunday, 9 o'clock.
Walt Disney World time.
Y'all have a fantastic week.
Thanks, guys.
And